Hey guys, welcome back. Doing some more PSA submission videos. Well, technically submissions is just me building this form. I know y'all are really hoping it's another giveaway video. I can't make all of my videos giveaway videos, guys. I'm sorry. However, if you do want to see more giveaways and you do want to see them get better and you do want to see them get bigger, please let your friends know. Please have them sub and like. We're actually one of the few YouTube channels that I'm tracking that have over a 50% sub viewer rate, which is great. Thank you. Fantastic. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and dive into this PSA video. Now, I do think there is one thing interesting about this PSA video that some people aren't tracking that I do know is a fact, and I am going to submit them, is you can also have PSA submissions of stickers and also the little Series 1 and Premier Edition art box. Not quite certain what they're exactly called, but you'll see what I mean in a second. So starting out, we'll start with the Mankey sticker. So we did give a few of these as a giveaway, but we're going to go ahead and also submit a few to the PSA. Now, to be honest, we're not exactly what to look for. We do see some things, like you can see there's some threads coming off when they were cut. We're not certain how that will be graded against, and also the bordering, because the bordering isn't really meant to be exactly the same as Pokemon cards, so we're not quite certain if this is considered a thick border or not. I think mainly they're going to be looking for maybe some sort of scratches in the gloss, which the gloss in this is perfect. I actually got these, I believe, from someone's binder. Now there is some whiting on the back. I'm not quite certain how that's going to affect the grade. We can presume it will have some effect. So since, oh, sorry. So I just had 2 IPAs. I'm a little bit out of it. Well, I'm really in it. I'm just, you know what I mean. So, so there is some whiting and a nick there. We can presume that probably brings it down to an 8 to 9, and then a cool little stance off of Mankey. Who doesn't forget Mankey, who was always kind of like that one Pokemon who was just super, like, always in their face and making things a hard day for them in the series. So I'm going to go ahead and get him in there. He's in there pretty well. This is how I'm going to submit them, and this is the Art Box Premiere / Series 1's editions that I'm talking about. So we're going to guess 8 to 9 for that Mankey sticker. Now, some of you may be saying, yo, that doesn't seem like a lot. Or it doesn't seem like it's worth it. However, I don't know about the Mankey stickers specifically, but some of these art box things, when they get 10s, some of them go for $200, some of them go for $500, some of them go for $1,000 each. They're not really talked about a lot, and once again, also we're not quite certain how they're going to get graded. So as you can see, as I'm flashing this left to right, up to down, and don't forget, these were pack pulls. We did these as pack pulls on this YouTube channel. There's definitely like some sort of like almost like roughage to them. I'm not quite certain how to describe it. Almost like it doesn't exactly sit 100% flat. However, that is 100% a manufacturer error, along with like these threads. Let me see if we can zoom in on these threads. Along with these threads that seem to be coming off. You can see this right here. I'll make it move. See if it'll move. So it's not a scratch, it's a thread. And see, now I have it on my finger. So we're not quite certain how they'll be graded against exactly. This one seems to be pretty good corners wise. The bordering, I guess if they're going to account for bordering left to right, is a little off. Top to bottom is fine. So we'll say 8 to 9 once again. Now really most of these you want these to be in a 10. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, those aren't really as collectible as the cards, but that's where you're wrong. See, collectability does fall under demand for sure, and these may not have as high as demand as the cards. The cards definitely have a high demand market, but the issue you have with the cards versus these art box snaps, Premier Editions, and stuff is these have a much lower supply. So that's your basic economics, supply versus demand. So although the demand may not seem as high for these compared to the cards, the main thing in your favor is these weren't as collected or see, here's this giant thread, just went ahead and removed it. However, we still have kind of like this unwell done pattern across. And this is an Arbok Ekans. Now, some of this is probably bringing nostalgia for you. You're probably thinking, oh, I remember having those, and yeah, no one cared about them. So yeah, I guess there must be a border grading because there is border differences here and here and here. This one's a little bit on the lower scale, and there is some whiting, so we'll say 6 to 7 for this one. And Ekans really isn't that high, but we're still going to send it in, even with it being a possible 6 to 7, which probably means we're way off, and it'll probably be a 3, just because we're still not quite certain what to see in our grades wise. So I say 6 to 7 or 7 to 8. I think I said 6 to 7, so we'll stick with that. And then speaking about PSA grades, which we're going to continue to use PSA unless what Dave from Vantage Pillar Hunter Brothers said is correct. He said that they've doubled the cost of their services. Now, if that's true, we'll probably move to Beckett grading systems. I don't know if BGS does these. I know PSA will grade these. I am completely unaware if Beckett grades these. Now, I'm 100% aware that Beckett grades cards, which is our main factor. But we do have quite a few of these. I think we have over 100 of these individually, because we did do a full out, like basically almost like 2 or 3 booster boxes of these, if that's what you want to call it. Definitely really bad centering border wise on this one. But this is Flareon, so he is worth a little bit more, and my lucky number is 13. So, yeah, dang, even on the front, the centering is really bad. You can see that. These were definitely just kind of a rush product by Pokemon, trying to catch the hype along when the show was coming out and the cards were really building in popularity. They were like, hey, what else can we produce besides more cards? Because they really didn't want to do more cards and flood the card market, so they came up with other collectibles, this being one of them. And yeah, wow, the bordering is super bad on this one. That really, once again, probably puts us in the 6 to 7 range, maybe even lower, but once again, we just don't know. Now the next one, thank God, doesn't seem to have nearly as much as a bordering thing, because it just wasn't part of it. So these were all part of the second run, which is called the Premier Edition. The ones you really want to collect if you are going to run these down is the Series 1 edition, which if I can get my hands on some more packs of these, I would definitely go with some more Series 1s, because the Series 1s you at least have the chance of pulling a Charizard, which yes, the Charizard one is worth quite a bit more than the others, as is typical with a Charizard. The centering seems to be pretty solid. Not really a border, but if we're running along the lines of this, it seems to be pretty solid. I'm not quite certain how they're going to run against it in terms of this, because this would definitely be a lot, I guess, larger on this side technically, because this would be the extra based on how the centering of the Series 1 wording is. Everything else on this seems to be really fantastic. There is almost sort of some uplift, but once again, that seems to be the common theme. These were all pack pulls, so I'm not quite certain how that's going to run, but we're going to say 9 to 10, just because it seems to be a real common thing with all these sort of like factory lines. And I really do think PSA takes that into account. Now, I noticed that the PSA is having quite the random spurt in how they grade things, and I wasn't the only one. I was just on some forums, and a lot of people are agreeing that the PSA can't seem to make up their mind in terms of grades, and a lot of people are starting to go Beckett. I prefer Beckett in terms of how they actually tell you how they grade things. I wish I had one to use as an example, but the Beckett card, or where you have it graded in, will actually have a label up top, and it will actually say what they gave each point for, whether it was centering, the card surface, the back, stuff like that, which I think is really important. I think it really sort of points out why that card got what it's got, or whatever collectible you sent in. But let's just focus on cards right now. The good news is, so far, I know the PSA accepts these as cards, so there isn't any really special order I have to do. These can all just go in as one submission, which is super important. Now this next one may just seem like, oh, it's just a Fossil Lapras. Now for those who don't know, there is a difference. This is a Fossil Lapras with a Cosmos pattern, which is considered a misprint. Luckily, as far as I'm tracking, PSA doesn't grade against you for a Cosmos pattern, and I just noticed that this is a German version, which does kind of suck, because we do want our cards to be in English for the most value, so I'm writing down German, just notice that. However, it is the Cosmos pattern. Now, there is a lot of scratches in the holoflow, but what we have noticed so far with PSA is they don't seem to grade too hard against that. It seems to be they have a focus on centering and whiting and centering seems to be pretty solid on this card, so that's fantastic. Although I do see kind of a dent on the bottom. It makes me nervous, but I still think we're going to send it into the PSA. There is some whiting. The dent doesn't follow through as far as I'm tracking. Looks like some more whiting. The whiting is a bit more extreme than we'd like it to be. We could see this getting probably we're going to do a 2-number guess. We'll say 5 to 7, although that Cosmos pattern still definitely helps the value of this card. so that's fantastic. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, see how it circles and see how this one is stars. Luckily this one's in English too. Really wish this one was in English, but it is what it is. So we're going to go ahead and do a 5 to 7 guess. I am sorry, my furnace is really moving all of a sudden for AC. I don't know why. Okay, so it looks like also there's some sort of misprint going on in the back. It's like the... Oh, I guess that's normal. Okay, so I guess it's just supposed to be mountains in the background. For this one, the corners aren't exactly right, and there's a bunch of nicks at the bottom. There's, of course, some scratches in the hollow foil. I think it's really common for almost everyone's Laprases, because I think everyone played their Laprases because Laprases seem so common, which they really are. Laprases, as just who he is, they have him so basic, transport Pokemon, which is essentially basically what he was in just the game. I mean, really, I think a lot of people, when the cards were coming out, people figured Lapras was some sort of variant of Dragonair, Dragonite, and Dratini, which I think is a fair guess because he just sort of seems to have that same long neck look, basically based off the Loch Ness Monster. Absolutely a unit of a Pokemon, 8'2", 485 pounds. That is a massive Pokemon. Ooh, yeah, there's some whiting there. Corner's not quite right there. It's really not that super bad in shape. I want to just go ahead and say possible 6. That might seem high, but really, it's a really good shape card. I mean, a lot of the cards we sent into the PSA, the whole point is that their card's in good shape. But we've had some surprising grades, so it makes us hard to vary on what we think we're going to get. Next is a Mega Houndoom, something a little bit more modern. The bordering for me is always hard to tell just because there's so much art and action going on in these cards. He looks pretty solid to me, no factory lines, no scratches across the front. And he's got some minor stuff, but nothing crazy, and the bordering seems really solid. I'm going to say 9 to 10. Yeah, I know a 10 may not seem possible because there is definitely still some flaws you can see on camera. But once again, the PSA, any grading service is subjective. You never know. It's based on the person you have as the grader or what maybe the machine sees, depending on how you want to see it. Because the PSA is saying that they're going to using more machines, but it's whatever. Dark Vileplume. Centering seems a little weird, but it does seem to still be centered. I do wish it was hollow, but we'll send it non-hollow nevertheless. Everything seems to be pretty solid. The issue we have noticed, and we think is definitely a factor after we sent in some cards, is they definitely grade way more harshly on non-hollow, so we do have some whiting at the bottom. And the centering does seem to be a little bit more apparent off top to bottom. Everything else seems to be in like fairly working order. If this was a hollow, I would guess 9 to 10. With this being a non-hollow, I have to kind of guess 7 to 8, just because it seems like they grade way more harshly, which would make sense, but I don't really understand because it doesn't seem like they grade so much against scratches and hollow foil cards, but it is what it is. So Hypno, definitely interesting artwork of Hypno. Some sort of, I guess, twisted fates. Are you gonna have a nightmare or a dream? I guess that's the theory there. Everything seems to be in solid order. Centering, I guess, is a little off top to bottom. Left to right is good. The rest of the card looks really good. Itty bitty whiting. I'm going to say 9 to 10. You know what? I'll just say 9 because the centering is a little off and there is a little bit of whiting, so we'll just say 9. Getting lower than that would be kind of nuts, as long as it's not less than an 8. Now, as you know, if you can read ahead, there's quite a few Hypnos. So here we go again. Dark Hypno. Everything looks to be in order. Not really a dent, just some sort of wax issue. Let's see here. Some dirt. Maybe it'll come off. There we go. That's good. Centering, more dirt. They say they can catch when you're taking stuff off cards in terms of leaving more damage, but I don't know how true that is. I mean, I guess it's possible. Let's see here. Actually, let's use this ultra zoom and see if we can get it to come off. Alright, so that's definitely some sort of pin. That's definitely a point off for sure, at least. Going to go ahead and just enjoy that ultra zoom photo. I really love this. To me, everyone kind of has their favorite of a card. For me, for Hypno, one, because this is kind of like a, because I also grew up with Yu-Gi-Oh! It's kind of like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Background with the eyes, but this is just really cool. In fact, this whole thing is really close to like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Artwork. I would argue, I think a lot of people would agree, that a lot of the dark cards from this series, a lot of the artwork is very similar to how they were doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards at the time. Which I wonder if the illustrators are the same for a few of these. I bet is a high possibility. Let's go ahead and zoom back to 1. And then actually let's do another zoom in for the back. So there is some nicks, nothing crazy. Centering seems fine. There is some nicks. With it being non-hollow, it's probably going to be really rough. Oh, let's say 5 to 6. I mean, it would be nice if it came back what I think it should, which would be like a 7 to 8. But with it being non-hollow, the things seem to be graded harder against. We'll just take what we can. And some of you might be thinking, man, I'm crazy for sending these in, thinking they're going to get such low grades, which is somewhat true. But here's some factor, guys. One of the factors is if it gets such a low grade, with some of these being, most of these being vintage cards, even the lower grade cards, if you just hold on to them, still in a couple of years, they're an appreciating asset versus a depreciating asset, especially once you get them graded and sonic sealed and all of that, and just make sure they don't get damaged, keep them out of kids' reach, animals' reach, things like that, keep them safe. They're an appreciating asset. True, the 5s and 6s don't nearly appreciate as fast as the 8s and up. You really want the 10s. The 10s really, truly 100% appreciate more than anything. However, the 5s still appreciate, and even if they don't appreciate fast enough, if I get tired of holding on to them, as you guys know, as the subs increase, we increase the giveaways, we continue to do giveaways. So our PSA cards that aren't high enough grades just end up being giveaways to the people who watch this channel and pay attention, which I really think y'all appreciate. Our winners are starting to become a little bit more diverse, which is fantastic. We have some other giveaway styles we're planning on, although it is going to take some time. It's going to take us some time to build up some of the prizes. We are starting to build up some more prizes as we do this, as we find cards that are just too damaged in our opinion to send to the PSA, that wouldn't even make sense as a PSA card for y'all as a winner, but would still make a good card in terms of the vintage and collectability behind it, and saving you, the need to go buy it. Plus, it's a chance to win a free card, and even some damaged cards, especially the vintage ones, are still worth 10, 20 bucks a piece, which is still nothing to scoff at. That's more than most giveaways. I think we've surpassed even the most popular channels like Leonhardt in giveaways, and we've only been around for less than a year, just because we do so many giveaways. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next, which is Fossil Hypno Non-Hollow. And granted, for me, this card, hollow or non-hollow, really doesn't mean much besides the value of it. There is some uprise, so that's an immediate huge hit right there. Bordering seems great. No scratches in the artwork or anything. But for me, what I was getting at is, when this card is hollow, you really can't tell too much until you put it under white light like this, just because of how the background is. So whether it's hollow or non-hollow, this card doesn't really have too much of an appearance difference. Now, that uprising does have quite the whiting on the corner. We have quite the whiting on this corner, and there's some wax disdain. We can probably guess this is probably closer to a 2 to 3. We'll be lucky if it gets 4, and I think we'll be super grateful if it gets 5. But we're still going to send it. I just, some of you once again are probably thinking, man, this dude is nuts. That's money he's wasting on sending that card in. True, but I still think it brings an appeal. It still gives it a nice little PSA case. And also, one of our other videos, we had to do a ton of some substitutions, which kind of made the video a little bit too long. And I really don't want to do that. And as I said, if it comes back too low, we'll just hold on to it, or it'll eventually be a giveaway for our fans. Now, I think this was a pack pull, which is really a shame because there's quite a bit of whiting. I'm accepting to when there's some whiting for a pack pull, but man, that is a lot of damage for a pack pull. And I may be wrong, this may have not been a pack pull, but I'm pretty certain it is. I think this was a pack pull. I'm just guessing by the number, like a Vivid Voltage or 2019. That wasn't Vivid Voltage. I think this was a pack pull from our Unbroken Bonds. So that's really rough if that is, because that was a sealed booster box all the way. The whiting kind of makes this rough. Centering's not super off. That being said, we're going to say 7 to 9. We really want to say 7 to 8, but we're hoping to get lucky. That's just really a shame because I'm almost certain this was a pack pull. And you know, for most of our pack pulls, we immediately put to the side and then we case them. And so it doesn't make sense. And we've shown on camera as we did pack pulls that we've had quite a few from pack pulls that were damaged. Now, this is a little bit of a nicer card in my opinion, not in terms of its condition, just in terms of it being a base set card. Oh, hey, wow. I need to check if that's dirt, so let's go ahead and zoom in. So this is base set Magneton. Sorry, I do see some dirt, and I would like to try and remove it just to try and help the grade a little bit. I'd rather take my chances with lightly scratching off this dirt. And remember, guys, you definitely don't want to ever put too much force, and especially if it's on the hollow foil, I would just almost suggest leaving it. There is a factory line, which sucks because I guess the PSA apparently does grade factory lines against you. The other thing we haven't really been paying attention to lately that we really need to is we haven't been paying attention to too many misprints. Obvious ones we can definitely point out, but other than that, and there's some whiting on the bottom. We may have missed quite a few misprints already as we've done this. Card on the front seems to be in pretty solid shape. Minor stuff. Centering looks fine to me. Let's go over the back. Centering looks good. No dents. I don't know what this is up here. It's not a dent, something else. Super minor whiting. Keep in mind we are super zoomed. We can zoom in more, but I think this is enough. Dang, I want to say 9. I think that's a solid guess for this card. If it wasn't for the factory line, I would definitely say 100% a 9, possible 10. But we'll say 9. I think the factory line's going to keep it from becoming a 10, which just really sucks. Next is a promo Snorlax, and granted, also it is in not a penny sleeve. It is in a what is he called? Solo Leo. Sorry, I forget his name, so we're going to go ahead and move that over to the side. That will be a part of a giveaway. Now, there is definitely some silvering on the side, some scratches on the card itself. Definitely a played card. Centering is off. This card probably is definitely not worth sending in. I would argue it would definitely be worth sort of sending in. Base set definitely has way more wear than we wish it would. But you know what? Let's go ahead and send it in. Let's go ahead and zoom back out to 1. So yeah, it's a lot of whiting. Dang, that is a lot of whiting. I am going to go ahead and say, you know what? I didn't want to have to do this, but we're going to go ahead and do it. We're going to go ahead and put this back in here. I'm sorry, folks. I try not to do substitutions so much. So this will be a giveaway card down the road. It's just, I don't even think, if it was base set, or, well, I mean, not base set, if it was jungle or base set 2, I think people would appreciate it as a PSA card. With it being a promo card, a more modern card, it would just take years for this to truly become an appreciating piece. And I just don't think that's the case with this. So I'm going to move it over. I am currently looking for a substitution card. So give me 1 second, guys. Not my favorite to have to do this. I'm trying to find a different, dang, what is the word I'm looking for? A decent substitution. Oh, I think we got one. Let's see here. Nope, he's a little bit too beat up too. We usually wouldn't be so nitpicky, But with our recent, you know, PSA cards coming back, we kind of have to be, just because of how rough those grades hit us, which was really strange for us. I think we got something here. Let me see the back of it. Dang, no, it's not exactly in the condition I want. I'm sorry, guys. Give me 1 second while I find a substitution card. This will do. This will definitely do. Okay, I definitely think we got one. You don't have to do a little bit of writing, but that's fine. Let's go ahead and get this sucker on stream. So we have a Japanese Wobbuffet, who looks super clean, to be honest. Super clean. I'd say centering top to bottom is slightly off, but other than that, just near flawless. Let's go ahead and give this sucker a zoom in. That came right off. Fantastic. Yeah, just super solid. I want to say 10. There is some sort of factory line, but it's so minor. I've got to say 10. Wow, what a what an absolute fantastic substitution. Hold on, gotta get this sucker in a case. So yeah, we're gonna have to go ahead and write that down. While I'm writing the substitution down, I'll go ahead and let you enjoy that piece. Let's zoom in even more on him while I'm doing this this substitution change. So we're going to say 10. So yeah, good news is that promo Snorlax will probably become some sort of giveaway. Japanese 202. Sorry guys, this does take a second. It's one of the reasons why I try to avoid this. There we go. Wonderful card. Zooming back out. Moving on. So this is an original Snorlax, Jungle Snorlax. It is non-hollow. He does have quite a bit. We're going to go ahead and send him. As I said, even with it being non-hollow, I just really think no matter what, these vintage cards, man, he is beat up all over the place. Centering is off. Wow. This is a rough one. I know I just said I wasn't going to do this, but I don't even think he'll hit the 3 category. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Give me 1 second again. Let's see what we have laying around. Oh, hi. We got something. Oh, wait. Yeah, we got something. Oh, hi. We have an E-Series Ho-Oh. I wish he was hollow. I think this one comes in hollow. I am sorry to do so many submissions again. I don't mean to do this. It just happens. Promo non-hollow. Okay. For him, and the centering for E-Series is always really hard because they intentionally made this border way thicker. So we can only go off the back of the card. The front looks fine to me. It is a little bit of wave in it. It's got a bend in it. Granted, I don't know if the PSA grades against that so hard, mainly as long as it's just not a crease. Setting a little off. We'll account for the wave. It is a little bit more than I'd like it to be. I know I'm making some of you guys really nervous with me rebending it. But I don't think that wave is going to hit us that hard. Let's just say the wave is weird. I know. Dang, I'm going to do a 2-number guess. We'll say 6 to 8. It'll probably come back 5, make me look like a fool. But we'll say 6 to 8. Definitely, if it wasn't for the wave, I'd be guessing closer 9 to 10 for sure. The rest of the card seems to be significantly fine. And we'll do the Snorlax, which once again doesn't come exactly in a penny sleeve. It comes in a 2-penny sleeve, whatever you want to call it. So we'll move that over to the side for giveaways later. Snorlax V. I can't remember if this one was a pack pull. I want to say it possibly was. Centering seems a little thicker on the right than the left, which is more evident on the back. Centering seems to be really the only flaw. We'll go ahead and say 8 to 9 just to save us some heartache. Now, with this being a much more modern card, it will probably be something we have to hold on to, which is fine. One of the things I like about Pokemon cards is they don't take up a huge amount of space. I say 8 to 9? Yeah, I said 8 to 9. They don't take up a huge amount of space compared to other items, compared to other toys or collectibles, whatever you want to call them. They're a very flat item, and the PSA cases and stuff really kind of thicken things up. A little bend in the corner. I wouldn't say it's something super, super crazy or noteworthy. We can probably zoom in on it. As I zoom in, it's definitely way more apparent, which I'm really enjoying being able to do this. I guess I was able to do it on my older phone, but probably not to this quality or extent. There is some factory lines. There is a little bit of dirt, but it's coming right off. Everything else seems to be really in order, which is good, which is super solid. We'll go to the back, our corner. Some scratches in the wax, but not a killer. A nick here. Remember, guys, this is really, really zoomed in. We'll zoom back out to kind of show you what you would kind of see in a normal basis. And this is still kind of taking a close look. Centering is a little off. There is some nicks. We're putting ourselves more in the 7 to 8 category. This still is an original vintage card, so that's still a win, even with it being in Japanese. And everything's still gonna be more apparent on this channel just as we do it under that ultra white light right there. I mean, that's directly under our ultra white light, and we have more than one of those in this little room. So this one is a base set 2 non-hollow. I don't recall them doing a hollow base set 2, but I might be wrong. Centering looks perfect. The rest of the card looks perfect. Granted, it's non-hollow, so they're probably going to grade super hard against it. Does look like there is a uprise in that corner, but it's super, super minor uprise. Super minor uprise there. Oh, they're super minor. If this was hollow, I'd definitely say 10. I'm going to go ahead and still say 10 and just take the disappointment with whatever we get. Although, really, that should come back at 10. It's a really good condition card. I do wish it was hollow, and I do wish it was jungle, but it is what it is. So now we've got a base set Japanese Hitmonchan, which is just one of my favorite Pokemon, especially in terms of the fact that he is based off Jackie Chan, and Hitmonlee is based off Bruce Lee. There is a corner, like a crease, which that is definitely going to ding us. It's almost like there's a hollow bleed. You see that with the border? The border has kind of like a shine to it almost. Definitely looks like they also made the Japanese cards out of a different material. You can kind of see what I'm talking about. We're at max zoom now. I'll try and keep the card still with 2 hands. It's like it's not the same square papyrus that they use in the English cards, which is interesting. I know we're super zoomed in, so we can see some of them even really minor scratches. I'll go ahead and zoom back out to 1. So even at 1, that kind of crease scratch is definitely still apparent. The rest of the card is in really good condition, so it's a shame to send this into the PSA and probably be brought down to a 5 for such minor things, but I think this card being what it is still just a good card. There's plenty of sparkle to it. It's a Japanese base set Hitmonchan. The art is fantastic on this card. Dang, it's a hard guess because I want to say 5 just because of how the PSA graded some of the cards we submitted. but at the same time, it just seems so minor. Let's try and keep it some positive. We'll say 6 to 7. I don't think it would get 8. If it wasn't for that crease with just the whiting on it, I would say 8 to 10. But that crease definitely is going to hurt us. Without further ado, that does account for this episode, which is, geez, what is this? April, oh, I want to say it's April 9th, isn't it? It is. It's April 9th. So April 9th, 2021. We have to wait, and we'll do another video on why. And also we would wait anyways as we try and send in our Pokemon products by the 100s now, which is a bigger hit down the road, but a smaller hit also at the same time. But make sure you are liking and subscribing and keeping up with the channel for all of our giveaways, because we do like 2-3 giveaways a week. Don't let someone else be the winner. Be the winner. Enter. It's really easy. Some of them are challenges. Some of them are just random comment giveaways. We just use YouTube comment selector for that, to be fair. Other than that, everybody, have a good night, have a good weekend, and thanks for watching. Bye.